can start. So, well, I did want to give you a little bit of an introduction.
Like you last time?
This is Darryl Anka.
Hi.
The magical channel for Bashar. So, anyway, I just want to thank you for being magical, because there's just... It is amazing, and we really appreciate the gift of the information that you share with us, and we are really excited to hear more.
Thank you.
So thank you for bringing through Bashar and being fabulous yourself.
Oh, thanks. Are you having a good time? Yeah. Good. Let's have some more. I'm going to sleep now. I'm just curious, before we start, how many people have never heard Bashar live before? Wow. I guess I'd have to include myself in that one. How many people are hearing Bashar for the first time in any form? Okay, still quite a few. Thank you for coming. All right, I'm going to go to sleep and let you have some more fun. So this will probably be the questioner thing, so people that got their names drawn, get ready to come up to the mic when he starts asking for questions. Good day to you this day of your time. How are you all? So, an earthquake and a hurricane. You really know how to tell a story. Very exciting. Very good. We want to hang with you. So then, in what you have absorbed in our initial transmission, we would now like to ask you a question. Anyone may choose to answer. 'Tis up to you. What is the single most important archetypal element that makes the hero interesting? The villain. The antagonist is responsible for the level of interest you have in the protagonist. Think about that. Think about some of your favorite books and films. Many times you'll actually be surprised when you think back and remember to realize that one of the more interesting characters was actually the villain. Many times you actually can't even really remember the hero as strongly as you remember the villain. The villain defines the hero. Without the idea of the negative side, the hero has nothing to be heroic about. Thus then, in many ways, you can say it is the negative side that allows the positive side to be so memorable. Because it is only in the overcoming and the transformation of the challenges posed to the hero that allow you to truly go on the hero's journey with him or her. And for that, you have the villain to thank. So this is why it is so important to not so much push the negative ideas away, but incorporate them in a manner that allows you, as the hero of your own story, to become that much more interesting, that much more well-defined. As we have said many times in these transmissions to many of you will find that the easiest way to find out what you are is to experience more clearly what you are not. Thus, then, by giving yourself the opportunity to interact with those challenging negative scenarios, by giving yourself the opportunity to let rise to the surface of your consciousness those negative beliefs and to become aware of them, you give yourself the opportunity to have something to transform. You give yourself the opportunity to become an active, heroic individual in your own story. This doesn't mean you have to get a big ego. That might be another antagonist that you can write a story around. But the idea is that as you become more heroic, you become truly more of yourself. But the way you get there, the path to being that legendary hero, is the true understanding and the true relationship that you form between the hero and the villain. And allowing that to be in perfect harmony and perfect balance, and knowing that the choice is always there to succumb to the negative side. But once you validate that the negative side has a reason for being, that it is an equal choice and a valid choice to any other choice you could make, then you go from being the villain in your own story to being the hero, because you incorporate both in a balanced way and thus are capable of simply choosing what you prefer without invalidating the negative side that brought you to that realization, that brought you to that understanding, that allowed you to become the hero you prefer to be. Do you understand? Not all of you? Do you understand? Thank you. In return for the gift that you are allowing us in this communication now, we ask, in what way may we be of further service through dialogue, question, and answer?
Get this just right for you, okay?
Just right. Sounds like something in a story. Not too hot, not too cold. Just right. Not too high, not too low, not too quiet, not too loud. Just right.
Hello, Bashar.
Good day to you. And so, what's your story?
My story is I am not going to hold back.
Oh, all right.
I'm not going to hold back.
When you are making on your planet a movie, what starts the story rolling? The word action. So important in living your story is to incorporate all the ideas, all the energy, all the beliefs into actual physical action, as you say, not holding back, because you have chosen to be physically experiential beings. It is very important for you to ground your energy, ground what you prefer, ground your excitement into physical reality to attract physical manifestation and shifting to the reality you prefer through the completion of the circuit called physical action. So, you have decided to act who you are. Do not hold back. Very good. What else?
Okay, the dichotomy of that is I came up here to New Jersey this weekend to also surrender.
Yes.
I came here I have used my mind for 55 years to try and understand life and existence and reality. And
Must be tired.
yeah. It's
Poor
been,
little mind.
It's been 55 years of intense aerobic exercise, and
Yes.
I'm tired
All right.
of doing that.
All right.
I want to surrender to my heart, but yet,
All right.
but
Oh, all right.
I would like to be who I know myself to be,
Yes.
which is bold.
Yes.
And
So you are willing to act on your excitement, which if you do in the purest form, will actually be experienced as surrendering to your total self, and thus will be experienced in a joyful and effortless way even as you act? Is that what you mean?
I would like to integrate the two so that they're...
Yes, that's what we just said.
Yeah.
The idea of surrender doesn't mean you take no action. The idea of surrender is to start to go with the flow of your true self so that all the action you take will not be struggle, but will be joy, will be play, will be effortless. You will still take action, but by surrendering to yourself, all the action will be exciting, will be joyful, will be pleasurable. That doesn't mean to surrender that you take no action.
Absolutely.
Does that make sense?
It makes total sense.
Is that what you meant?
It is what I meant.
All right. And so you will start doing this now? I sense hesitation.
I am right now in my life, I am performing something that I have had the most fun with of anything I've ever done.
Oh, thank you.
In my life. Now,
yes,
that whole idea of excitement leading to excitement.
Yes.
I don't have the next chapter planned.
You're not necessarily supposed to completely plan it out, you know. Remember that your physical mind has no capacity to know what's going to happen or how it's going to happen. Only your higher mind does. So the idea is that while the physical mind can form just a sufficient enough framework to know exactly where the hallway is you need to walk down, you can let your higher mind surprise you with exactly how you will be walking down that hallway. So you don't need to plan the whole thing out physically. Make sense?
Yes, that makes sense.
So the idea of excitement leading to excitement will simply be that once you have some degree of understanding of the framework or the structure, then you can simply get on about the business of acting to the best of your ability at every given moment on whatever opportunity has presented itself to you at that moment that contains the highest amount of excitement. And if you act on it without any expectation of what kind of manifestation or fruition it needs to come to, and you simply go forward to the best of your ability, taking it as far as you possibly can, as far as you are able to, without that expectation, then that will always put you in the proper place, at the proper time, with the proper people, to know exactly, synchronistically, what the next thing is that you need to take action on. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
This is just physics, you know.
Sure, that makes sense.
All right. Is this something that you believe you can incorporate into your story?
I'm okay with spontaneity. I'm okay with just...
It's not just about what you call spontaneity, although that's a large factor. It doesn't mean that you give up thinking. It doesn't mean that you cannot see to some degree what the structure is, and it does not mean you cannot choose to gravitate in a particular direction according to your choices. Nevertheless, the idea is that you can allow much more synchronicity to reveal itself to you so that you don't have to overthink it. Does that make sense?
That makes sense.
Does that feel lighter?
Yes, it feels lighter.
But there is still some hesitation.
Well, yeah, here's the deal.
All right.
Here's
the deal. All right. What's the deal?
Here's the deal. I understand following the path of excitement and
One moment. We would like to offer you an opportunity to be a little bit more precise in your definitions here, because we often hear people on your planet say this to us. Well, I understand it intellectually, but I don't quite grasp it on this level or that level. Let's just be clear about this. If you're not actually doing it, you don't understand it. Because to understand is to do, is to know, is to be. That's what true understanding is. That's why understanding comes with experience. Because the idea is that when you understand something, you don't think about it, you just do it. That's understanding. There is no disconnection between understanding and action. So we know what you mean when you say that, but the truth is, if you're not actually acting in that way, you actually have not yet arrived at understanding, because I guarantee you, the moment you actually understand it, nothing will stop you from acting that way. So as long as there is any hesitation in your action, you actually don't yet have a complete understanding of it.
And again, that's only because I guess what my fear is,
yes,
when this little episode of what I'm doing right now,
yes,
comes to an end, which is a volunteer project from my church,
yes,
which I'm totally engaged in.
What is your fear?
My fear is
Here comes that part of the story.
Well, it's a lapse of, okay,
Lapse.
what is this going to move on to next?
Who cares?
Well,
let me ask you a question. What you're actually saying is, and in conjunction with the idea that you say you are volunteering for your church, you are lacking faith. So the idea really is to go beyond faith into knowingness. If you really understand the principles and the concepts of what we're talking about, if you really understand the structure of existence and how reality works, you won't have to actually have faith. You can know that whatever it is that is the next thing that happens will be exactly what needs to happen. And when you respond to whatever happens with that knowledge, with that certainty, with that attitude, and in that energy, then you will see how whatever it is that has happened next will serve you as the stepping stone you actually needed at that moment. You don't need to know what it is before you take the step. In fact, you can't know what it is until you take the step. So the idea is actually, even though I know that many of you use the word faith, it's actually going beyond faith into knowingness. You actually don't need faith. You need to know. You need to understand how reality works. So let me put it to you in a very simple fashion. Whatever it is that happens next, you know that something will happen, yes? How likely is it that nothing will happen? Or as one writer once said, suddenly nothing happened. How likely is it that nothing at all will happen? Wouldn't you say that that likelihood is most probably, let's say 0? Something's going to happen next, right?
Well, Bashar, I'll be honest with you. That thought of nothing happening, nothing is a relative term to me. Okay?
Let's put it this way. You see, this comes from a lack of understanding of the nature of existence itself.
Thank you.
It is not possible for you to experience non-existence by definition. Non-existence means there is no experience. You cannot experience non-existence because you already exist. Existence only has one quality: to exist. That which exists doesn't become that which doesn't exist. That which doesn't exist already doesn't exist. And non-existence is already full of all the things that will never exist. There's no room in non-existence for that which does exist. Do you understand these concepts as they translate into your language?
Yes.
So it's not actually possible. This is one of the few things that is actually truly impossible. It is not possible for that which is to no longer be that which is. That's its only quality. It's the first law of creation. You exist. That's it. You can't do anything about that. You'll change. That's another law. You'll transform how you exist, but the fact of your existence is woven into the very fabric of existence itself, and that can't change. And let me put it this way, it's not something to worry about, because if it actually were possible for that to change, you wouldn't know that it had changed anyway, because there is no experience in non-existence. So if you were to become non-existent, you wouldn't know it. So what's to be afraid of? So the point is that whatever it is that happens next, there has to be something that happens next, because that's the only thing that can happen in existence, and you can't become non-existent. Are you following that so far?
I do follow that. Can I introduce a subplot to the story?
Oh, a subplot. All right.
And it really becomes a matter of focus. Okay, there's as I see it, there's two ways you can go in life.
Oh, all right.
You can accentuate the positive and look forward to the next experience.
Yes.
And do that.
Yes.
And let that lead into something else.
Yes.
And ever and ever and ever. Or you can go, let's talk about the negative side of who I am and what I'm trying to resolve.
You can accentuate the negative and let that lead to the next thing and the next thing. But you see, the point still is there will still be a next thing.
Or try and understand.
No, understand. There is no trying to understand. You either understand or you don't.
Okay. All right.
Now, let me put it to you this way. One moment. A further subtle explanation. We understand what you mean by trying to understand. We understand what you mean by process. Nevertheless, here's the actual truth about what a process is. A process is not actually in any way, shape, or form trying to understand. A process is simply getting to the point where you finally give yourself permission to understand. So the idea is that you may simply go through an experience and still not give yourself permission to understand. And you may do that again and not give yourself permission to understand. And in all of those experiences, you are actually not trying to understand. You're actually choosing to not understand.
Okay.
And eventually you get to the point where you finally don't need to choose that, and you suddenly choose to simply understand. All of the times you chose to not understand do not actually, literally, physically, mechanically have anything at all to do with your ability in the next moment to choose to understand. Any process you went through that made it seem as if that gave you more ability to understand actually didn't give you more ability. It just gave you more time for you to let it be all right to finally choose to understand.
Okay, well, let's talk about a way I can understand something that I've been trying to understand for a long time.
All right, and that would be what?
Something that...
Be specific.
Okay, this does not... The irony of it is, this does not seem native to me.
We love irony.
It does not seem...
Native to you.
Native. It does not seem natural. I do not know.
Yes.
I do not know why I hang on to a certain fear.
Of what?
Of I don't know. It's a
yes. Of what? Understand right now. You're sitting in your movie theater watching your movie, and you're allowing the film to break. Get to the point where the fear presents itself, invite it in so you can get on with the movie.
Of not willing to be who I know myself to be.
Because you fear that if you do, what will happen? You see, this is one of the strongest ways to find out what your fears actually are, is to actually amplify and magnify them by allowing yourself to imagine what the worst possible thing you fear might happen is, should you allow yourself to actually be who you say you prefer to be. So what's the worst possible thing you imagine might happen if you did? Be who you prefer to be. Give it voice. Get it out there. Because once you get it out there, once you actually say what you fear the worst thing is, then you have something to work with. Then you have a really good villain. Then you can become a really strong hero. So, invent a really good villain. What's the worst thing you fear will happen if you actually allow yourself to become who you prefer to be? Spit it out.
Too much exposure is the only thing I can think of.
Exposure to what? Exposure to what? In what way? Seems like you're getting some help from the peanut gallery. Shh, no talking during the movie. Exposure. What does exposure mean? That somehow someone is going to come up and say something that you believe would devalue you? Is that what you fear? What do you really fear? Speak, speak, speak.
It's there on the tip of my tongue.
Give me the scenario. You have the picture in your head. Paint the picture. What do you fear might happen?
I understand why I separated myself from myself to the degree that I did, because I went deep. I went real deep.
That's all right. If you understand that, then
If
you understand that and you understand that now you are basically choosing to be done with that, then why aren't you done with it?
Well, that's that's the edge or the
$64,000 question?
well, I'm standing on that edge right now.
Well, listen to this. Listen to this. Listen to this. The only reason, all of you, listen to this. The only reason you hold on to something you say you don't is because you still believe that it somehow serves you in a positive way to do so. So what's your belief about that? Do you believe that holding on to this, the thing that prevents you from being yourself, somehow keeps you safer than you might be by being yourself? Is that what you're getting out of holding on to something you say you don't want? Because the only reason you hold on to something you say you don't want is because you perceive or have defined that there's a benefit to do so. Because as soon as you define there is no benefit to do so, you'll let it go instantaneously, believe me. So the only reason you hold on to something that you say you don't prefer is because you must have an unconscious belief that there is some benefit to doing so. If you find out what that belief is and identify it, then it gives you more ability to let that go. So what benefit do you believe you're getting out of holding on to a state of being you say you don't prefer?
Because the next step is,
Yes.
losing this or surrendering to this. I'm out.
Are you equating surrendering with losing something? Is that your definition?
I'm equating surrendering with just letting go.
But why are you defining that as a negative?
I'm not defining it as a negative.
Then why aren't you letting go?
I guess I'm not at that point right now.
No. Listen again. There is no such thing as not being at that point. That really doesn't have any meaning at all. If you are not letting go of something that you say you wish to let go of, it's because you are choosing to not let go because you believe it serves you. It's not about I'm not at that point yet. It's about the fact that you are deliberately choosing to hold on to it. You have to find out why. And the reason why will always be, yes, always be, you have defined that holding on to it is beneficial. How does it benefit you to hold on to this thing you say you don't prefer?
The safety net, that might be part of it. But
so you feel you need one because you fear that what will happen? What? What will happen if you just let go? What will happen? What's the worst that could happen? Come on, give it voice. Be bold.
Maybe there's an element of maybe of non-acceptance of.
Who cares?
Well, I don't give a shit about that.
Obviously you do.
But I don't.
But you obviously
that's the whole point.
do.
I'm at the point where I just don't give a shit anymore.
Then why not let go?
That's.
Obviously you do. You see, this is what you're not allowing to be obvious. The belief may be unconscious. You may think, consciously, you may think you don't care anymore, but your actions show you do.
That is
your
absolutely
fear
true.
Tells you do. So without the action, with the idea of still feeling fear, those are the barometers to pay attention to. The fear and the non-action in the direction you prefer tells you there's a belief you're unaware of. So it doesn't matter if you sit there and insist, I don't care, I don't care, I don't care. All you're saying is, consciously, you can't figure out what the belief is.
That's right, because I understand everything that you're talking about.
But you know the belief must be there.
Yes, I do. I'm not.
Then find out what it is by asking the question, what would I have to believe is true of my relationship to this situation in order to hold on to something I say I don't prefer? There is an answer. There is a definition you have to be holding on to. Otherwise, you wouldn't be asking this question of us. You're holding on to something you don't prefer.
I agree. From your perspective, just so others can ask questions, can you give me, besides asking the question, which I've done for a long time, can you give me a little...
Yes.
Little...
Push?
Board, yeah.
Yes.
Yeah, that.
All right. Have you heard us talk about the idea of the two-word sacred mantra?
No, I haven't.
Repeat after me. So what? Very powerful. 2-word sacred mantra. So in other words, should you decide to move forward and should what you fear will happen, so what? Pick yourself up, keep moving. It cannot actually ultimately destroy you. It will only make you stronger. Because you will have discovered more of yourself. Even if the modality, remember what we said? Even if the modality is extremely scary, even if the scenario is extremely frightening, invite yourself to go through it because you will go through it.
My fear is it's too big. That's
Nonsense.
That's the fear.
Nonsense.
That's what I'm holding on to. You asked what my fear was?
Yes, but it's nonsense because it cannot by definition be bigger than you are.
I totally agree.
Well, there you go. Thank you.
Thank you.
Good day. Good day. The title of this transmission is How the Oversoul Works. We are going to explain a little bit about the different levels of oversoul that can exist. Sometimes this has come up as a question of reincarnation, where a question has been asked about the idea of whether or not people reincarnate, but also whether or not, as has been said in some of your stories and some of your legends, people can reincarnate as different things, such as animals or insects or plants or what have you. Now, as we have said, time in a sense is an illusion. And therefore, no one really reincarnates in the classic linear sense, although you can create an experience or an appearance of reincarnation. But this is primarily viewed from your linear perspective, so it just looks like it works out that way, where one life happens after another, after another, after another. But that's not actually mechanically, as we have explained, what's happening. Because everything exists at once. Everyone, everything, everywhere, every when, all exists at the same time. Therefore, being that everything does exist at the same time, what you are actually experiencing are cross connections, energetic links to other beings that exist at the same time you do, in the same moment that you do. And by making those links, but coming from a linear perspective, you're interpreting those energetic links along which information is being downloaded to you, experiences being shared with you, and you might be sharing your experiences and information with these other beings at other times in your so-called history, past or future. And you interpret that information sharing as if it's a memory, as if it's something from the past, as if you, as the individual you are, lived before. The soul that you are lived before. Again, this is not the case. All things are happening at once, but you interpret those links in a past, present, future sort of way from your linear physical reality perspective. Now, recently the question was asked that an individual experienced a synchronous event with regard to certain animals and wondered, after members of their family had passed into spirit, linearly speaking, were these animals a reincarnation of those individuals, because it seemed to them that the behavior of the animals somehow reflected the people that had passed on, that they were, in a sense, messages from those people. Now, in a sense, this can be so. But again, it's not that that person came back as an animal, reincarnationally speaking. Again, the oversoul contains all of these things simultaneously. The human souls, the animal souls, the plant souls, insect souls, what have you. All at once, on a larger scale, the larger, higher version of an oversoul. And there are different levels to this, or can be. There can be an oversoul of human souls. There can be an oversoul of animal souls. an oversoul of plant souls, insect souls, even rock consciousness. But the idea is that there can be these oversouls that are differentiated specifically for those groups, but there can be a greater oversoul that encapsulates all those things, the oversouls of the collective of any given world, or even oversouls of collectives of many different worlds, or galaxies, or universes. So on the level of the oversoul, that is something that also can contain the human souls and the animal souls and the insect souls and the plant souls and the rock souls, soul equating to the idea of awareness or consciousness in some way, shape, or form, then the same oversoul extension that might have been a human that was alive with you, linearly speaking, can also send an extension of an animal soul from the same level, from the same collective oversoul. And it will contain a frequency of energy, a signature vibration that will let you feel as if it's coming from the human soul that you knew as a physical being, but it's simply the same oversoul sending another extension from itself as an animal that contains a similar vibration enough to recognize it as coming from the same oversoul. Because it's all about the idea of recognizing the vibration of the theme of the human. Themes can definitely cross into human extensions, animal extensions, plant extensions, what have you, so that you can recognize the commonality of a theme vibration that exists for the human, for the animal, for the plant. And thus you may feel or believe that you're actually seeing the human reincarnated as an animal or a plant, when in fact you're simply seeing another extension of the same collective oversoul that contains the same vibrational theme within it that you would recognize as being connected to the person that you knew. So you have to realize how many levels the oversoul can exist in, how many different ways it can express itself depending upon that level. You can look at some of the higher collective oversouls almost like smaller versions of all that is, because they can contain many, many things. Now again, this doesn't mean that just because they're extending one thing that all the others are just sort of waiting in the wings. Remember, time is an illusion and everything is happening at once. So all these expressions of an oversoul, all the different versions of the souls that they may represent, are going on at the same time, all living, all expressing themselves in the same moment, without a time factor that you would recognize as linear. So it's not like any of these are idle, waiting to be extended. They're all being extended, they're all being expressed, they're all being experienced, they're all having their own experiences, all in the same moment of existence, because there is only one moment in existence. I know that this can be a little bit challenging for third dimensional and fourth dimensional beings to wrap their minds around, but that's all right. You will, as you ponder this, simply get the hang of it eventually. And it's not that important that you do in terms of your daily lives, but it's important to understand how things work, mechanically speaking, energetically speaking, so that there is no confusion in your definitions about what's happening. So you can understand that something can be created as a reincarnational experience, as if it's the person you knew coming back as an animal or a plant, but simply understand mechanically that that's just an experience that you're being given so that you can recognize the thematic connection between these things, have some familiarity with the messages being delivered to you coming from that oversoul, but that all these things are separate unto themselves. All these things are having their own individuated experiences as humans, as animals, as plants, as insects, as rocks, as whatever. And it's all happening at the same time mechanically. But the idea of whatever it is you're receiving as a linear experience is important for you to recognize the synchronicity therein and the connections therein that are allowing you to recognize messages being delivered to you in some way, shape, or form by the same oversoul that delivered the soul, the individual human soul that you were familiar with, and simply reaching out to you in another way that is symbolically representative of what the human soul may wish to send you, if they wish to do it in that way, or the oversoul wishes to do it in that way. That would be representative synchronistically of a symbol that works for you, that carries the same theme, but is delivered by a different form of messenger that is also important to recognize in your life as a symbol that works for you, with meaning that you've given it, that you've defined it with, synchronistically in your life to propel you forward in exploring what that symbol means to you. So, for example, if a human you knew that is passed on, suddenly a hummingbird shows up, and you somehow recognize through synchronicity that it's thematically connected to the human that you knew, then understand again mechanically it's not actually the reincarnated human, but it's an extension of the same level of oversoul and coming in a form, the hummingbird, that symbolically represents something to you, the definitions you've given to different objects and things in life, that works in your favor to suss out for yourself what that symbol represents. A lot of times, symbolically, a hummingbird on your planet represents the idea of acceleration, speeding things up energetically, vibrationally. So it may be a message through the oversoul from the human soul with the extension of the hummingbird saying, if you raise your vibration, if you accelerate your vibration, you'll be able to connect to the human soul that you knew in a spiritual way. So you have to look at the context of the symbol being delivered to you from the oversoul and not necessarily just think, oh, it's the human reincarnating as a hummingbird. Again, the experience is valid as a symbol, but it's not necessarily representative of the mechanism that's going on, because the oversoul can extend itself and does extend itself simultaneously in 1,000 different ways. Recognizing how the mechanics works helps you interpret the symbol a little bit more clearly, while not necessarily letting go of the connection that you feel to the human that you knew as a physical being. So ponder that, if you will, and let it sink in, and see what happens in the increase in your ability to perceive synchronicity and extensions of the oversoul in a variety of different ways, while not losing touch with the idea that the human soul may also be involved in sending that message to you, but in a way that works best for you in the symbols you understand. We thank you for allowing us to share this idea of this different new level, higher level of the oversoul and its capabilities as a mini version of all that is, functioning simultaneously. And we ask in return, in what way may we now be of service to you? Please begin with your dialogues and questions, if you wish.
Good day, Bashar.
Good day, good day.
Hello, Bashar. This is Amado from Germany. Hope you're doing great. You know, the other day I wasn't feeling very well. I was bogged down, I guess, in a spiral of negative thoughts. I couldn't get out of it. 2 hours later, though, in a matter of 2 hours, my mood shifted. It rose. I went to a preferred state of being. My frequency rose, I guess. I wasn't in control of it. I experienced it. I noticed it. In fact, I remembered your teachings. Oh, I've just shifted now. I went to a more excited, inspired state of being. I just wasn't in control of it. I don't know how I did it. Now, my question to you, first of all, is what happened exactly? How would you describe what happened? And secondly, how can I be at the driving seat? How can I actually control my vibrations and be able to raise my vibrations myself and not just be a puppet and just be driven by some external forces or my subconscious or what have you? I want to be in control of my frequency shifts, if that's possible. So thanks very much. That's my question. I hope you take care.
You are in control, and you were in control just from a higher level. It was all right to go through that process, but the fact that you allowed yourself to come out of it is being in control. It's just that when you're in control from a higher level, it doesn't feel to the physical mind like it's controlling anything. Don't fall under that illusion. You are in control. It's just that the physical mind doesn't always have to be the one to be in control. And when control is allowed from a higher level, it doesn't feel like you're in control, but you still get the automatic result of going to a place that is more in alignment with who you truly are. So let go of the idea that the physical mind always has to feel like it's in control in order for you to know you are in control, and allow it to happen automatically. But in the meantime, when you feel out of control, explore that for yourself and find the reasons why you feel it's so important that the physical mind always has to know whether or not it's in control, because that's the issue of that moment for you. But because you have taken onto yourself some of the things we have shared, then you simply allowed it to function automatically for you. So you didn't necessarily have to feel like you were doing anything. You just know that it will work for you because it's now embedded within you on some level that will always pull you back into the positive side without you having to know physically in your mind that you're in control. Let that go.
Hello, Bashar.
Hello. Good day.
Namaste. How are you?
Namaste. Perfect. And you?
Good, sir. Thank you so much.
All right. What would you like to discuss?
Yes. So today I truly believe that synchronicity does happen.
Oh, synchronicity is everything. Everything is synchronicity. There are no accidents. It's all an orchestration. No matter how much or how little a particular event may be relevant for you, it's still happening through orchestration and synchronicity. Everything is.
Yes, yes. Thank you. Yes. So thank you for your time.
Of course.
I have a few questions for you, please.
Yes.
In your stepping stone meditation, you mentioned that we don't move through the space. We just create our experiences. We reconfigure it, create a new configuration, and then
Yes.
as space and time moves through us. How does that happen? Can you please help me understand?
All right. Well, again, it's a euphemism. It's a way of saying it's not you moving, because movement, space, and time are illusions. Therefore, you're creating the idea of space and time within your consciousness. So you're not literally moving through something that's independent of you. You're making it seem that you're moving through something that's independent, but it's all happening within your consciousness. And that's what we meant when we said that it moves through you.
I see. So in other words, is consciousness shifting? And
Yes. Yes.
Steady.
You shift the vibrational pattern, and the vibrational pattern shift makes it appear as if you are moving through something that's outside of you, when in fact it's all happening within your own consciousness.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Appreciate it. One more question, please.
Yes.
How we can develop the powers of third eye? How can we use it in our day-to-day life? The third eye that is in between, like remote viewing, clairvoyance.
Yes. Well, again, follow the formula that we've shared with all of you, because it will leave nothing relevant out. It will always raise the vibration and allow you to become more aware of things you were not aware of before. You will start to expand your senses. They will start picking up on things that have to do with domains and dimensions and parallel realities, and will understand what the probabilities are of something manifesting, or exactly how to navigate yourself to alter those things in the way that you prefer. So it's a matter of simply expanding your vibration, raising your vibration, which expands your senses and allows you to become more aware of things that are going on in more rarefied dimensions of reality.
Awesome. So, Bashar, third eye do exist, right? The one that
Your ability to perceive parallel probabilities does exist. That's what you're perceiving.
Awesome. One of the reasons I ask is, there are many modalities out there to read the etheric, your auras. And then I heard that
Yes.
Auras sometimes get clogged because of whatever, stress and all. So if we can perceive, we can see that, then there are ways
Yes.
to clean up.
Well, again, it's about the person being willing to choose a particular permission slip that works for them. So all these things are just ways of describing when energy may be out of alignment, ways of perceiving when energy may be out of alignment with what a person's true vibration, their core vibration may be, and perhaps providing some interesting, synchronous, and creative way in which they will identify with a permission slip that will allow them to bring themselves back into alignment or heal themselves.
Wow. So let's say when I'm doing that cleaning for someone else, the other person who is receiving that, aura cleaning, or so that person is giving me, himself or herself a permission slip
Yes.
that allows.
Yes. You never heal anyone directly. You have to allow them to decide to align with the idea you're offering so that they will believe in it enough to heal themselves.
Oh my gosh, that is extraordinary. Thank you for that.
Yes.
One more question, please, sir.
Yes.
How the entire cosmos is, as you mentioned, the vibration. So I'm from India. The primordial, one of the mantras, the vibration that I learned since when I was a kid is mantra Om. The sound of Om, right? Om.
Yes.
And I also heard that it entrains with the vibrations of this universe.
Yes. Generally speaking.
How does that work, sir?
Well, again, it's a collective permission slip. In other words, it's your interpretation from physical reality of the essential frequency of all that is. Therefore, it's what works for most people in helping them align their frequency with the frequency of existence, of creation itself.
Wow.
In other realities, it may be a different vibration. But nevertheless, in general, that's the one that collectively can work for most people, since it's part of the collective consciousness agreement that that vibrational frequency interpreted in that particular sound is what represents your connection to all that is.
Wow. Bashar, that's awesome. So when I'm chanting Om during the meditation, or,
Yes.
when they do that, does it gets to the cellular level?
Yes.
It tumultuously, it responds.
Yes. And in fact, you yourself, when I gave you that explanation, also came up spontaneously and automatically with another vibration that can also work for many people. Do you remember what you said?
Sorry.
That's all right. What you said when I gave you that first explanation was, wow. That can also work, because that was your natural reaction to that realization. So by saying, wow, that can also open up many realizations, many understandings, many aha moments, as you say, can allow you to connect in many different ways, just as readily as Om can.
Om. Wow. Thank you, Bashar.
Om, wow. Om, wow. Om, wow.
It is phenomenal that you're talking to me from 500 light years. Because
well, no, I'm not talking to you from 500 light years away. Physically speaking, I'm actually in my ship over the vortex of Sedona, Arizona, in your reality.
Yes, physically, yes. But
yes, it wouldn't matter, however, because connections are made regardless of the idea of space and time, since space and time are illusions.
Space and time illusion. Yes, Bashar. Extraordinary. So that leads me to another question. I'm from India, and I always wonder, since I started listening to you and Darryl, are there any portals in India, and where are those?
Oh, many, but we'll leave it to you to figure out where they are based on your attraction to certain areas that work for you.
Okay. Okay, thank you. So usually folks in India, they are attracted more towards the temples, historical temples,
yes,
like thousands and thousands of years.
And why do you think they were built in those areas?
Why?
Come on, you just said it. Because of the portals.
Wow. I didn't know that. So I heard that there was a geometry, there was a specific logic behind.
Yes. It also plays out geometrically on your planet, but it's also sensed intuitively by those that have the sensitivity to figure out where those energy portals are that have certain attributes that work well for people to be in those areas and help them align. So use your instincts, use your senses, go to those areas that you're attracted to, and you will be in the correct place for you at that moment.
That is extraordinary. Thank you, Bashar. And I also heard that those ancient temples, they were built with some extraordinary architecture where there was no need of the physical light, the electricity, and many other
Many of them have certain resonant attributes that were utilized in ancient times and are representative of an ancient technology, but that's another story we will go into at another time.
Okay. Thank you, Bashar. Thank you.
Thank you. Good day.
Oh, thank you, Bashar. Thank you for your time.
Thank you.
Namaste.
Hello, my question for Bashar has to do with reproductive technology on Earth. My question is, why would souls choose to co-create the experience of having to go through IVF technologies to get pregnant, as it's such a painful journey physically, financially, emotionally? Why would people choose to have that done in their soul contract instead of just being able to get pregnant in a more natural way? Thank you for considering me. I would love to have the chance to talk to Bashar. Thank you.
Again, there are many journeys, there are many themes that are done not only for the person themselves, but to demonstrate to others alternatives that may need to be sought in order to alleviate the idea of pain and suffering. So you have to look at the idea that souls that know they're indestructible will often choose things that may seem physically painful temporarily to make a point and to help others explore alternatives to those things that may change the society in ways that prevent future suffering and future painful experiences. There can be as many reasons as there are for the individuals who experience that. Plus, it may allow people to explore other ways of doing things that, again, can be a little bit more in alignment with beneficial ways of doing things. It can also be that many individuals take on themes that are representative of connections they've made to other lives, and they may be, in their own mind, completing a cycle for themselves in a variety of ways that have to do with their connections to offspring and progeny and the evolution of humanity and so on and so forth. You have no idea what kind of information may come out of these experiences, even though the individuals may seem to be suffering now. I'm not excusing it. They don't have to do that, but they may have chosen to do that to serve a variety of purposes that simply are outside the scope of the immediate observations you are making. Good day, good day.
Hi.
Good day.
So I'm really excited to be here with you, Bashar. Thank you.
We are very excited to interact with you as well. So thank you.
You know, part of me feels like I'm here because I need clarity.
All right. About what?
Okay. Yeah, I came in remembering parts of my soul contract.
All right. Good for you.
Yeah, thank you. And it's a beautiful life. I'm living my best possible reality every second of every day.
Then what needs clarifying?
Sometimes I communicate with the other side and my ancestors and my loved ones and things like that.
Yes.
And
So
I
do
help
we.
others with it as well. But sometimes
All right.
there's a wall there that I feel I can't get
You mean on part of the other person?
on part of the other person, but I feel like it might even be on part of me too.
What do you imagine it might be on part of you for?
I don't even know. It's just, I feel like
All
there's
right.
a wall there.
How about this? The other person isn't supposed to receive that information at that moment.
Fair.
What about that? Why not trust the synchronicity that if you cannot deliver the information, you're not supposed to, and that's okay. Remember, what other people do with your information is none of your business. You don't know their path. You don't know what they need to know or not know at any given moment. Delivering the information is your sharing. And if you have the synchronicity to find a situation in which you can do that, that's fine. But you have no insistence on whether they need to listen or receive it, because that's not what it's about, because you don't know whether or not they need to receive it at that moment or later or never. You can't insist that they must receive the information. That's not your business to determine. Just give them what you can and let them decide when the timing is right for them to understand it. So the wall may simply be your insistence that they have to understand you, when in fact, no such thing is true.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Does that help you relax?
So much. I feel like you just took the biggest weight off of me. So thank you.
You are welcome for thanking you, letting it go.
Yeah, that was exactly what I needed. That was the clarity for sure.
Yes, you see, it's all about definition, how you're defining things.
Absolutely. I knew
So-
this was going to be good today.
Oh, all right. Thank you for your psychic premonition. Anything else?
Yeah, one other questions. I guess I want to know if I'm connecting with ET in a way as well, aliens and things like that. I feel like in one way.
Aren't you connecting with us right now?
Yes, absolutely. Well, I was going to say that as well, but two, it's all one in consciousness. So then on every level.
Well, yes, it's all one, but it also has individuated expressions, and that's fine. So the fact that most people who connect with us also have other extraterrestrial connections is generally a given. Otherwise, you probably wouldn't have found us.
Fair enough.
Does that help?
Yeah, you helped and you marked all the boxes for me. Thank you. This was the clarity I needed.
All right. Check, 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 check. Have a wonderful day.
You as well.
Always.
Mm.
Good day.
Good day.
Hello, Bashar. I would like to know if humans are the only intelligent life, advanced intelligent life, living on planet Earth. And I don't mean dolphins and octopuses and other non-humans. I mean, like, the Shaver mystery. Are there intelligent life forms living in subterranean caverns on planet Earth? Thank you.
Some. We're not talking about the idea of the hollow earth. That's different. There are caverns, there are tunnels, there are beings that do exist that are intelligent in certain underground enclaves. But also, of course, don't forget the idea of the elementals, which are also intelligent expressions that simply don't always have to express themselves physically. They can become physical, they can go out of physicality. So there are many forms of intelligent life, and it also depends on what you mean by intelligent. So even beyond the cetaceans and beyond the idea of the underground enclaves of beings and the idea of the elementals, anything in that sense is a form of conscious expression which has its own form of intelligence, even though it may not be expressed as human intelligence.